Hey, what's up? People Piz out here, and today I want to talk to you guys about 1982's The New York Ripper from director Lucio Fulci. Now, this is partially going to be a review of the movie as well as a review of this upcoming 3-disc limited edition Blu-ray release from Blue Underground. And The New York Ripper, in my opinion, is easily Lucio Fulci's darkest, most mean-spirited, sleaziest movie that he ever did. The movie focuses on a serial killer who is savagely and brutally murdering women around New York City and the burned out detective who is tasked with tracking him down and bringing him to justice. Now, as far as plots go, that's a pretty standard plot for a giallo movie. However, there's a lot more going on in The New York Ripper than just that simple plot. Now, I have to admit, I'm not a fan of The New York Ripper. I don't like this movie. However, I'm fascinated by this movie, so much so that I find myself on a fairly regular basis pulling it off the shelf and giving it a rewatch. And the thing about The New York Ripper that I find equally fascinating and difficult to watch is the perverse sexuality on display in this film. Just about every character in this movie is just an out-and-out pervert. For instance, you have one woman in the film who is ostensibly well-to-do. She's clearly not fulfilled in her marriage, so she goes out and gets herself in these situations that involve voyeurism or bondage or humiliation with just random guys. As a matter of fact, there's one sequence in the film that I find particularly difficult to watch in which she is seduced by a gentleman's foot. And the killer in The New York Ripper really dislikes promiscuous women. He goes out and he brutally murders women who are promiscuous. Now, Lucio Fulci had a reputation of being somewhat misogynistic. I'm not sure what was going on in his life during the making of The New York Ripper, but I would venture a guess to say that it was possibly a very dark period in his life that involved a significant other. But in other words, this is a movie that could not in any way, shape, form, or fashion be made today. Now, if you're familiar with Lucio Fulci, you know he's into eye trauma. Well, there's another sequence in the film in which a woman is tied up and brutalized with a razor blade. Now, there is some graphic eye trauma in that sequence. However, there's another moment in which the razor blade mutilates another part of the female anatomy that just thinking about it, I just kind of, a chill goes up my spine. Women are stabbed, women are slashed, women are gutted, women are razored. One character in the film actually gets a broken bottle stabbed into her groin and twisted. Ouch. From a technical point of view, The New York Ripper is an exceptionally well-made film. The cinematography is fantastic. I love all of the sequences that take place downtown on the old 42nd Street. The score is good. The acting all around is pretty good. The film features all of the earmarks of a Lucio Fulci film as far as gratuitous nudity and violence. They're just turned up to 11 in the case of The New York Ripper. And also, did I mention that the killer quacks like a duck? Whenever the killer is attacking a woman, he's quacking like a duck. When the killer calls the detective to provoke and harass him, he's quacking like a duck, which is a really weird choice for the killer to be quacking like a duck in this movie. You have a very, very perverse and perverted movie in which the killer is quacking like a duck. Now, the movie explains why the killer is quacking like a duck at the end, but still, it just, every time I hear it, it just kind of, I don't know, it almost takes me out of the movie. And the end of this movie, so just mean. This is just a mean movie. Again, I'm not a big fan of The New York Ripper. I don't like the movie, but I do find it fascinating, so much so that I rewatch it on a fairly regular basis. The thing about this movie that I find equally fascinating and difficult to watch is the perverse sexuality in the film. And not to sound like a prude or anything here, I don't know. It's just, It's the New York Ripper. If you've seen the film, you know exactly what I'm talking about. I can't necessarily recommend the New York Ripper. I think even to Lucio Fulci fans or to Giallo fans, it's kind of an acquired taste. But if you've not seen the New York Ripper, and based on my review, it sounds like something that you would dig, by all means, check it out. This Blu-ray release from Blue Underground would be a great way to introduce yourself to the film. If you're a fan of the New York Ripper, you definitely want to look into picking up this 3-disc limited edition Blu-ray release from Blue Underground and adding it to your collection. This release sports a really nice lenticular slipcover with some awesome new artwork on it. The sleeve on the inside also sports the same artwork, however, it is reversible, and there is some different artwork on the reverse of the sleeve. This is a 3-disc release. We get the DVD, the Blu-ray, and the CD soundtrack for the film. This release also comes with a really nice booklet featuring a write-up about the film entitled Fulci Quacks Up the Unrelenting Grimness of the New York Ripper, and it includes some really nice full-color images from the film. This release features a brand new 4K restoration from the film's original camera negative. As far as picture quality and sound quality are concerned, they are both absolutely fantastic. I would give the picture quality for the New York Ripper a solid 4.5 out of 5. I would say it's even close to getting a 5 out of 5. This movie looks fantastic on this Blu-ray release. A glorious 4K restoration for the New York Ripper. Same with sound quality. The sound quality was absolutely fantastic. I'd give it a 4.5, if not a 5 out of 5. Great picture quality and sound quality for this release. As far as extras are concerned, first up, we get The Art of Killing, an interview with co-writer Dardano Sacchetti. It's 29 minutes and 14 seconds in length. Mr. Sacchetti discusses working with Lucio Fulci on such movies as Zombie, City of the Living Dead, House by the Cemetery, and Manhattan Baby. He discusses his, at times, volatile relationship with Mr. Fulci. He discusses how he became involved with the New York Ripper. Mr. Sacchetti mentions that Lucio Fulci was obsessed with the sexy shops in New York City and goes on to state that every Italian director who came to the U.S. and filmed in New York made a pilgrimage to 42nd Street. However, he would not, unfortunately, name names. Very nice interview with Mr. Sacchetti. Next up, we get Three Fingers of Violence, an interview with star Howard Ross. It's 15 minutes and 8 seconds in length. Mr. Ross discusses first meeting Lucio Fulci and getting cast in the New York Ripper. He discusses shooting in New York City and someone asking him if he was Charles Bronson. He discusses working with Fulci and the other actors in the film and more. Nice interview with Mr. Ross. Next up, we have The Second Victim, an interview with co-star Cinzia De Ponte. It's 12 minutes and 14 seconds in length. Ms. De Ponte discusses auditioning for Fulci and being asked by Fulci during her audition if she could scream. She remembers Fulci as being eccentric and difficult to understand at times, but says that he was pleasant to work with. She discusses being named Miss Italy in 1979. She also discusses working with Fulci on Manhattan Baby and more. Nice interview with Ms. De Ponte. Next up, we have The Broken Bottle Murder, an interview with co-star Zora Kurova. It's 9 minutes and 24 seconds in length. Ms. Kurova discusses her brief but very memorable role in the film, how uncomfortable her sequence was to film, and how she tried to hide the movie from her parents because they wouldn't have approved. She discusses her character's death in the film. She discusses working with Fulci and her friendship with him off the set. Nice interview with Ms. Kurova. Next up, we have I'm an Actress, a 2009 interview with Zora Kurova. It's 9 minutes and 30 seconds in length. Ms. Kurova discusses her role in the New York Ripper being embarrassing and very difficult to perform. She discusses Fulci's reputation, but she says that she found him to be very pleasant to work with. Next up, we have The Beauty Killer, an interview with Stephen Thrower, author of Beyond Terror, the films of Lucio Fulci. It's 22 minutes and 34 seconds in length. Mr. Thrower discusses the origins of New York Ripper, which was originally titled The Beauty Killer. He discusses the incestuous relationship between Italian giallo and American slasher films. He discusses Fulci's reputation as a woman hater. He discusses the film being banned outright in the UK and the backlash from critics in the US regarding slasher films keeping the New York Ripper from receiving a US release, and much more. Very nice interview with Mr. Thrower. Next up, we have Paint Me in Blood, an interview with poster artist Enzo Ciotti. It's 17 minutes and 14 seconds in length. Mr. Ciotti discusses his background as an artist and eventually becoming a movie poster artist. He discusses his technique, and we see posters he painted for movies like The Graduate, Near Dark, Blue Velvet, Maniac, and Silver Bullet. He discusses meeting with Fulci to discuss the poster for Cat in the Brain. He discusses the new artwork he did for this Blue Underground release of the New York Ripper, and more. We get New York City locations then and now. It's 4 minutes and 8 seconds in length, basically just showing us what the locations of the New York Ripper looked like back when the film was shot, as opposed to how they look today, which is nice. We get a theatrical trailer and a poster and still gallery as well. We also get a commentary with Troy Howarth, author of Splintered Visions, Lucio Fulci, and his films. I listened to about 25 minutes of the commentary, and Mr. Howarth is a walking encyclopedia of Lucio Fulci, and it's pretty impressive that Mr. Howarth knows as much as he knows about every little aspect of the New York Ripper. Very impressive commentary with Mr. Howarth. This is an excellent Blu-ray release from Blue Underground for the New York Ripper. If you are a fan of this film, you definitely want to look into picking up this Blu-ray and adding it to your collection. The presentation is fantastic. Love the lenticular slipcase. The new artwork is awesome. The picture quality and sound quality are both superb. You get tons of extras on here. It's 3 discs, DVD, Blu-ray, and the soundtrack CD. We get a really nice booklet inside. This is just a packed, loaded, really, really nice release for the New York Ripper from Blue Underground. I'll put a link to their website in the description. Go over and check them out. If you've seen New York Ripper, please let me know your thoughts on it down in the comment section below. Let me know what your favorite Lucio Fulci film is down in the comments section below. If you like this video, please leave it a thumbs up. If you're not following me on social media, those links are in the description. They're also right around here. As always, thanks so much for watching. I really appreciate it. Take care, and until next time, peace. Join the $1 a month club and help support my channel on Patreon. Thank you to my current patrons: Kevin Smythe, Orc145626, B-Movie Mike, Robert Sobel, Turi Delamore, Stephen Flanagan, Lori Holt, Craig Farrand, Farron Sutton, Jeremiah Lambert, Grindhouse Grotto, Derek Jana, Demon Waffles, Simon Clark, Stone Gassman, Zachary Barton, James Welch, Eli Geisler, Jeff Overing, Pete Toll, Kyle McGuire, Jay the Stingray, Lauren Dixon, Andrew McDonald, Dave Barnes, Jonathan Lundy, Chris Gonzalez, Trenton Bowser, Jason Breitenbach, and Brandon Bisdick. Say hello to the internet, Jeremy.
Hello to the internet.